Now this is going to be a very contentious case. I imagine it will divide opinion. And I invite you to let me know what you think in the comments. It involves two adults, each with a degree of responsibility for a disabled young girl. And one of these two adults was the child's mother. And these two adults were, at the very least, horribly negligent, and at worst, callously allowed the death of a girl who was unable to escape the situation that she found herself in. Were it not for the security camera that allowed the events to be seen unfolding in real time, it is entirely possible that this may have been classed as a tragic accident. But the footage, along with determined prosecutors, between them were able to speak on behalf of the disabled girl. But despite the overwhelming evidence of a lack of care and empathy, the mother's other daughters have stood by her, adding to the confusion around this case. I will offer a trigger warning for cruelty to children, as what happens to this young lady is nothing short of torturous. But with that said, this is the tragic case of Cristina Pangalangan, and this is Murder of Crows. This case takes us to South Carolina in 2019, and more specifically to Colleton County, which is in the Low Country region of the state. Now, the Low Country is a geographic and cultural region along South Carolina's coast, including the Sea Islands. The region includes significant salt marshes and other coastal waterways. The term Low Country originally referred to all of the area below the fall line or the sand hills, which run the width of the entire state from Aiken County through to Chesterfield County. And it was within Colleton County on August the 15th, 2019, that a frantic 911 call was made relating to a girl being locked inside a car in very hot conditions.
What's the address of your emergency? 911.
Hello?
Hello, 911.
Oh, God. Hello? Oh.
Hello, what's the address of your emergency?
I got emergency, man, like real quick.
Okay, sir, what's going on? Where's it happening at?
Our daughter was locked in the car. We had to borrow today. My girl locked the keys in the car. We had to run to her house to get the key fob, come back. And
sir, what is the address that you're at, sir?
11685.
Naturally, the response was rapid, and upon the arrival of the first responders, it was soon evident that the disabled girl, identified as Cristina Pangalangan, was beyond help. But later investigation would uncover cameras at the home that had captured the hours preceding the first responders arriving, and allowed investigators, and us, to see the events unfolding in real time, where we can see what this young girl had to suffer, and importantly, for how long she had to suffer it. So buckle up, Buttercup, as we take a harrowing look at what happened on a driveway in August of 2019. On August the 15th, 2019, at around 11 AM, Larry King, no, not that one, placed Cristina Pangalangan in the back seat of the car on the driveway of King's home in Colleton County. Now, King was the on-off boyfriend of Christina's mother, Rita. And the first thing to note here as we watch this first piece of footage is that King was far from careful when placing Cristina in the car, suggesting that he was perhaps not in the best of moods. Cristina was 13 years old, but was very different to most teenagers. She suffered with a form of cerebral palsy that also meant that she suffered with spastic quadriplegia. In addition, she also suffered developmental and seizure disorders. As a result, she was quite small, as well as being largely unable to move unaided, and was additionally non-verbal. She was apparently adept at communicating by non-verbal means, but she was not able to connect with others out loud, as it were. So King's rough handling of Cristina was not something that the young girl could have put right for herself. But Rita and King did put the young girl into her car seat properly. At this point, according to later police interviews, both Rita and King were adamant that the car was on and that the air conditioning was running. Now, Rita Pangalangan was an award-winning teacher who had once been awarded for being Teacher of the Year, and she was praised for her empathy and care for her students. And when we see Cristina being put into the car, we assume that this indicated that Rita must have been leaving in the vehicle with Cristina imminently. But this is where things start to go south. The first issue came when Rita and King were going in and out of the house, apparently in the midst of some sort of disagreement or argument. And it's probably worth mentioning here that King has been on a 3-day meth binge, while Rita had dabbled, despite anecdotal evidence indicating, as one may expect from a teacher, that she was very anti-drugs. It transpired during the following investigation that the couple had been arguing about whether or not Rita had had an affair. After this, Rita does get into the driver's seat of the car, but almost as quickly she leaves the car again. She does check on Cristina briefly, but at this point we can see that none of the windows are open, as Rita then closes the door of the car to return inside the home. By this time, admittedly, there have been some in and outs of the car, but by this time Cristina has been in the car for approximately 1 hour. The couple then inexplicably spend around another hour inside the home, presumably arguing and trying to sort out their differences. But during that time, neither one of them once returned to check on Cristina. And when they do finally emerge from the home, they continue chatting animatedly, and King, and this really made me feel nauseous, King can't seem to keep his hands out of his pants. By this time, Cristina has been inside the car for approximately 2.5 hours. The next stage of the events involved the couple making up and heading back inside the house to seal the deal. They remain indoors for around another hour, and I can only commend his stamina. But Cristina has still not been checked on. A much more amicable and calm King and Rita emerge from the home at this point, by which time Cristina has been in the car for approximately 3.75 hours. It's at this point that Rita realizes that the car is locked and that the key has been locked inside. But far from being frantic, both Rita and King seem relatively untroubled by the issue. They walk around the car multiple times, perhaps imagining that they can open the car using the power of their minds. They adjourn to the back of the house, seemingly in search of tools they may be able to use to get into the car. But as we have seen so far, there still seems to be no great sense of urgency. As they make their first attempt to break into the car, Cristina has now been shut inside the car for almost 4 hours. And it's not a cold day in South Carolina, let me tell you that. After failing to get into the car, they have a leisurely sit down on the porch to have a bit of a mull over what their next steps should be. When they eventually finish on the porch swing, they meander through the home and get into King's truck, which is parked behind the house. As the investigation later discovered, they had got into the truck because they were heading to Rita's home, where there was apparently a spare key for the car. By the time they actually leave in the truck, they have known that Cristina is trapped in the car. They've known this for about an hour by this point. And in total, Cristina has been inside the car for over 4.5 hours. They eventually returned to the home at 4:40 p.m. But again, they show no real urgency as they remain in the truck for several minutes before getting out. By this point, Cristina has been in the hot car for nearly 5.5 hours. The key fob fails to open the doors. But the couple at this point still just hang about with no sense of urgency around what to do next. Up until now, no efforts have been made to just break the window to get to the child. And it would later transpire that Rita thought it would be cheaper just to go get the spare key, which was a round trip of 40 minutes there and back, rather than just force entry into the car. After the girl has been trapped in the hot car for a total of 5 hours and 42 minutes, they realize that there is a manual key inside the key fob, and they manage to open the car door. When they see the state of Cristina, this is when King makes the 911 call. During the time Cristina was stuck in the car with no windows open, the heat inside the vehicle would likely have reached 135 degrees. By the time Cristina was removed from the vehicle, her skin was blistered and her diaper was soiled. When the Colleton County Coroner's Office worker arrived and tried to measure her body temperature, the thermometer showed 109.9 degrees. And that was the highest reading the thermometer could record, which strongly suggested that Cristina's body temperature could have been, and most likely was, higher than this. Vomit was later found in Cristina's lungs, suggesting that she breathed in stomach fluids as her body was shutting down. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Rita and King were both taken to the police station to be questioned about the day's events. And the two presented very differently in the interrogation rooms. Rita was wailing and seeming to hyperventilate, but, and this is physically impossible, she was able to turn her hyperventilation on and off at will. While King was largely still and monotone, perhaps on the come down from his 3-day meth binge.
No. Why did I get her sooner? Why did I get her sooner? Why did I should have shut the door. I'm sorry. I should have broke the window. She needs Dora. She needs her Dora. Oh my God. Oh my God. No. Oh my God, no. Oh my God. Oh my God, no. Oh my God, no. No, God, no. No, God. No, God. Please don't take my baby away from me. Please, God, don't take my baby away from me. Oh my God. I hate you, God. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you, God. I hate you, God. I hate you, God. Don't take my baby. Please don't take my baby. Please don't take my baby away from me, God. Please don't take my baby away from me. Please don't. Please. Please don't take my baby away from me. My God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, baby. Mama's sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wasn't in time. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I wasn't in time to help you. I'm sorry.
Water.
Yes, sir.
Anything before we get started? You got water? You need anything else? Okay. Good deal. Come here, full name, man.
Rita Marie.
Spell your last name for me.
Pangalangan.
Wait a minute.
Pangalang. Sorry. Oh my God.
Big damn medical problems. You got something.
And I haven't been able to pick her up and lift her like I used to. So Larry's been helping out. I usually pick her up and put her in the car. I usually do it. I didn't today.
Okay, listen. So if you turn the car on. Does anybody turn the car off, Rita? The AC wasn't on. This baby did not die with the AC on.
Yes, I cut the AC on. I swear to God, I cut the AC on.
What are you trying to tell me then? What's that mean? You turn the AC on. Could anybody turn the AC off? I'm trying to understand. Okay. I'll put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for the charge of homicide.
Oh my God, no!
Your actions and the actions of Mr. King led to the death of your daughter. And it pains me to call her your daughter.
Oh my God, my poor baby. It was an accident, I swear to God. It was an accident.
Was the accident
6 hours of laying in the car.
I just looked at the DVR and watched it.
It was a child. It was a 12-year-old innocent child.
It was 6 hours.
Oh my God.
6 hours.
Oh my God, no.
You put her in that car at 11 o'clock. 11 a.m.
God.
and did not get her out of that car.
Oh no, my poor baby.
During the questioning process, the police will have been able to access and watch the entirety of the surveillance camera footage. So they already had a good grounding in what had happened that day. And it was with this in mind, having challenged both Rita and King, the decision was made to charge both of them with the murder of Cristina. And they both sobbed uncontrollably when being told this. Their joint trial took place in August of 2023 and included harrowing testimony from the medical examiner about what Cristina would likely have suffered.
And you studied the medical records on this individual as well, did you not?
I've read through the records that were provided to me.
Okay. And can you tell us from the standpoint, she suffered from cerebral palsy, is that correct?
Yes, that was part of her medical condition.
And so from that standpoint, does that have anything to do with that weight, or is that something that's standard for a 13-year-old?
No, this individual was certainly shorter than you would expect for this age, and definitely weighed much less than you would expect for a quote-unquote normal 13-year-old.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I believe that was true.
All right. So after you get the general information, then these other drawings on the body, what do these indicate?
Sure. So the main findings externally on this the decedent were these areas where we kind of have these kind of ragged outlines here. There's one on the right elbow. This would be the right side of the abdomen. You can see there's some on the right thigh, some on the left thigh. Also, there's some on the left knee, and on the right back, left arm, right thigh. So these were areas of what we would call skin slippage. So the skin, essentially started to blister or pull away from the body. Some of these areas also had a really dry, yellow, orange, kind of leathery type of appearance. So certainly nothing we would see on a normal examination.
So in the context of those two, you've got the skin slippage and the blisters, you've got the leathery. What's the difference between the two?
So with skin slippage, we typically think that's part of the breakdown process of the body, what we call decomposition. So that's going to be determined based on how long the individual has been dead, but it's also really driven by the temperature. So when temperatures are high, decomposition is going to ensue much quicker than if the temperature is much lower. When we start to see the more leathery type of lesions, that tells us there was some sort of injury to the body, some sort of actually burn to the body. In this case, the reason it has more of a leathery appearance is because the body wasn't truly functioning well at that time. If somebody really has a burn, their heart is still beating, everything is vital, it's going to really have more of a reddish appearance, kind of more angry type of appearance. So when we see that leathery appearance, we know there's been injury to the body, but likely kind of during the dying process or even after death.
So what do those two tell you from the standpoint of the manner of death?
The fact that we have the blistering on the body, again, it would attest that there was increased temperature for an individual that's been dead for a limited amount of time, number of hours. You would not expect to see the skin slippage and blistering in somebody who was found at ambient temperature like we are here today. That's something that would really take probably days to start developing that slippage. So the fact that we saw that skin slippage would indicate there was a higher temperature. And again, with the more leathery appearances, that's probably likely the body was in contact with something that again caused more of a surface burn to the skin.
That's fine. What are the exhibits? Sorry about that. Excuse me. Don, I want to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit. Actually entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 3. And I I'll put it up on the monitor. Is this what you're talking about? These are pictures that have been testified at the crime scene at Christina's leg. Is that what you're talking about with that? What can you tell me about those?
Yes, so may I have a pointer? I can see him, but is there kind of a pointer or?
Tell you what, why don't you come down and just keep your voice up where everybody can hear you, and we'll do it that way.
Thank you.
Can you stand here? Will that be all right?
Sure.
No, I want to get your way. Mine or your way.
So this photograph here illustrates the kind of two different lesions that we're talking about. So up on the upper aspect of the left thigh here, you can see there's just kind of wrinkled, very thin appearance, kind of wispy appearance to the skin. That would be more that what I'm speaking with was skin slippage, so part of the breakdown process of the body. But in addition to just that, we can see here on the lower part of the left leg, we have this lesion where the skin is more ulcerated away. We can start seeing some areas on the knee, on the leg, that appear different than up here where we don't have that appearance to it. So again, to me, that would say these areas were likely in contact with something in the area that caused a direct burn or injury to the skin. And then we also have areas, again, that just show there's decomposition that's going on.
All right, and can you tell us anything as far as the timing on any of that? You mentioned earlier something about you wouldn't expect that in a quick, or I'm not sure how you want to mischaracterize it.
Could you repeat the question with respect to the timing of what?
Yeah, the timing of it. In other words, how long does it take for a body to do this? How long does it give you any indication of anything like that?
The timing is going to be unpredictable because it's going to be heavily dependent on the temperature. So again, in a temperature like this in the courtroom, you would not expect to see these type of changes for, again, possibly a day or two. But if there is a very high temperature of the environment, you can see this within hours of the death.
And these other chart things that you noted too, do they kind of fall into that same category as well?
Yes, most of what's charted on is showing these different areas where we have these areas of these burn areas and the areas of the slippage. The other thing that's noted on the chart is that there were contractures of the knee, of the knees, and so that was more part of her developmental issue where the knees, because she was not able to walk around and use her legs like most folks, essentially the legs become more fixed. So that's one other thing that's noted on the diagram.
Determination as far as the external part of the body.
I don't believe so. I believe those were the main findings, the different areas of the skin slippage, the burns, and then the contractures of the knees.
All right. Now, let's go to, I'm trying to determine, let me stay on the list just briefly. Some of that is, can you tell us if some of that is caused internally as well as externally? In other words, is there a difference between the internal heat causing some of that damage versus the body coming in contact with another hot item or things like that? Is there any way to tell that from those injuries?
Yeah, if the body is just heated internally, you're not necessarily going to see external areas like we saw on the leg where we had where the skin was missing. We had that more kind of reddish yellow appearance. Again, if the body's just overheating, you can get some of the more skin slippage. Again, usually that's going to occur after you die. Again, when the body's just overheating, typically you're not going to have the changes in the skin. So what we saw, again, with the areas on the lower leg, that would have been more of a burn that was in contact with something. So.
Very briefly today about what we know, what evidence we've heard, what testimony you've heard, what you've seen, from everything on the video to the chemical analysis to the experts to everything. What I want to talk about right now is just what we know. There's the question. We start with Cristina. Cristina was a child born with cerebral palsy. She could not walk, she couldn't grasp, she couldn't talk. And she could show emotion, because you've seen, for instance, this photograph, you can see the child can show emotions, and that's going to be relevant in a few minutes to what I'm talking about. But Cristina was not like other girls. She was totally dependent, 100%, on other people. She was dependent on her on everybody for somebody to take care of her, somebody to give her food, somebody to give her water, somebody to keep her safe. Cristina was totally dependent on Rita to do all of those things. Every day. Every day. Not just on Rita's good days. Not just on days when Rita is posing for photographs. Not just when Rita is sober. But even on the days when Rita chooses to go hang out with Larry and get high on meth. Cristina was dependent upon her then too. Wholly dependent on her. Even when Rita was high. And you heard testimony from defense witnesses, and they came in and they told you what they knew. One did not really have much contact with her for 18 years except through Facebook. Her daughter came in and said what a daughter should say. She's a good mother. But neither one of them knew about the meth. Neither one of them. And we know on that day, where none of those witnesses were, they didn't know what was going on. On that day, on that weekend, on that Friday, that Saturday, the Sunday, and the Monday, we know that they were on a meth bender. We know it because we took their blood. You know it because you had a chemist, 1, 2, 3 chemists come in and tell you that. Methamphetamine in both Rita's blood as well as Larry, and all well over the limit that would make them high.
What happened that day was the worst, most tragic mistake of my life. It was the worst day of my life. I was negligent. I told my attorney, well, I heard him almost a year ago, that a negligent homicide was one of the charges. I would have pleaded guilty, took everything myself, and we wouldn't have been here today. Because I was. When I put my baby, or I had Larry put that baby in that car, the air conditioner was on. It was on. When I checked her at 12:30, I just gave her the teacher notice of what was about. She was taking a nap, checked on her to school. I should have come back out there and checked on her. I should have busted out that window when the car was locked. I don't even know what's going on. I should have busted out that window. I should have got my baby out of it. But it was nothing intentional. And I will live with that for the rest of my life. Nobody loves Cristina more than I do. I was working 4 jobs to get a wheelchair fit for her. Just had her fitted for a brand new top of the line wheelchair. Had her clothes ready for school. I would have never hurt my baby. I can't believe that I was convicted of murder. Because what happened was not murder. It was negligence and something that whether I'm in prison or home, I will regret for the rest of my life.
Rita Pangalangan was sentenced to 37 years in prison for murder. And she was also sentenced to 20 years for causing great bodily injury to Cristina. Larry King was sentenced to 32 years for murder and 20 years for great bodily injury to a child.
Sentence of the court is that you be committed to the State Department of Correction for a period of 37 years on murder, 20 years on great bodily injury. Sentences will run concurrent and you'll receive credit for time served. Do we have the number of days of credit that they're entitled to?
39.
King, it's a sentence of the court on the offense of murder that you be committed to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 32 years. Great bodily injury, the sentence is 20 years. Sentences will run concurrent with credit for any time that you've already served.
Both defendants were ordered to serve their sentences concurrently. Boo! Jurors took under 2.5 hours to find the pair guilty of both charges. As the verdict was read out, Rita cried, "Oh my God." Well played, Teacher of the Year. While King did not react in any way whatsoever, Rita's other daughters have stood by their mother in the wake of the horrible tragedy.
Yes, my name is Elizabeth. I am a high school teacher in the Berkeley County School District, so just about 50 minutes away from Walterboro. I grew up here. I am happily married to my husband, and together we are pastors at Faith Church. We don't have kids yet, but we have a really sweet doggie. And yeah, I'm the daughter of Rita Pangalangan.
I was going to say, what's the relationship with Rita?
It's my mom.
And you're how old?
I'm 31. Even though insurance wouldn't pay for it, they said it was cosmetic, so mom would work extra tutoring jobs. She would clean houses. She made sure Cristina had whatever she needed because the insurance often dubbed something unnecessary or cosmetic. So she made sure Cristina had above and beyond what she needed.
Did your mother have a lot of support?
No. After the divorce and my dad left, and the money left too, a lot of people went Team Dad.
And with that, as far as you can describe your relationship with your mother. Has that changed at all?
No, we've been together since I was born, and we'll stay together.
And leading up to this tragedy, was there any red flags that you saw, anything that was out of the ordinary?
No, none at all. Like I said, we were so excited for Cristina to start school again. We were her book bag was prepped. She just got her physical done at the doctor's, giving her the clearance to go to school. She had her matching door, her 15th door doll that she has gone through to attach to her wheelchair. But like I said, we were supposed to pick up the new wheelchair right before school started.
Had you ever known your mother to leave Cristina in the car?
No.
You've never seen that?
No.
Never heard of it?
No, sir.
All right, this is final opportunity. You can tell them whatever you want them to know about your mother.
My mom, she loved Cristina so much, and she's a good mom. She would often say that God created her to be Cristina's mom because she was tough and she could handle it. And she loved Cristina so much. She loved her so much.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
I have no questions for this witness.
By the state.
Just a few. Is it Reverend? Do I call you Reverend?
Oh, no, sir. Just okay. Elizabeth is fine.
Okay, Elizabeth. Thank you for being here, and I saw the photographs. You have, I guess, been out of the house since you were, in high school, I guess?
College, about 20.
Okay. And you've been married for how long now?
About 10 years.
10 years. And you live where exactly?
I lived at Somerville at the time.
In Somerville?
Yes, So just 45 minutes away.
I went through the photographs, and I did not see any pictures in the photographs of Larry King. Did you spend any time with your mom when she was with Larry King?
Yes, sir. We went to church together as well, some.
Okay. Did you ever spend any time with your mom when she was doing meth?
No, she didn't even drink alcohol.
So you didn't know she used meth?
By use, what do you mean? Like, with what I know, her character, that was one of the main reasons why she and my dad got divorced, was because of drugs. Okay. And she never used meth or any kind of drugs. I mean, she likes her cigarettes, but she wouldn't even touch alcohol at all.
The house that you talk about, your house, was appropriate for Cristina. What about Larry's house?
I've never went to Larry's house.
Okay. So you don't know if Cristina has a bed there, what she sleeps on, anything like that?
I was asking Andrew. She said you never went to his house.
Objection's overruled.
So thank you, Your Honor. So you don't know where she slept or anything like that when she was at Larry's house?
I would never ask those questions. It didn't come up in conversation.
Okay. All right. And again, so as far as you know, you don't know what goes on in Larry's house when your mom is over there, and you don't know anything about her using meth?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Phillips.
Do you think your mother would do anything to kill Cristina?
No.
She loved her?
Yes. She loved her. Cristina was her whole world. And she has not been the same. Every single day we've lived with missing Cristina.
You wouldn't be up here if you thought she intentionally did something?
No. I stand by my mom.
Thank you.
And this is where I ask you guys what you think about this case and its outcome. I'd love to know what you think. And I look forward to reading the comments, because I imagine there are going to be very differing opinions about what happened here. Whatever the truth of whether or not there was any malicious intent here, a young girl lost her life. A girl who could not get herself out of the situation and who could not scream for help. She was a girl who, despite her challenges, was described as being full of life. I don't know what her long-term prognosis or life expectancy was expected to be, but I'm damn sure that she was not meant to die at this time and in this manner. This video is dedicated to the young lady who relied on others for everything, but who had no one to rely on when she most needed it. I hope she is now at peace and free from the physical confines that trapped her during her lifetime. Thank you for watching another episode of Murder of Crows. I'm Steve, This is Samson. Are you coming up? This is Samson. Hello. And we will see you when we see you.